Welcome to the Real Chat Podcast,
where we talk business, lifestyle, and mindset.
For the modern entrepreneur.
I'm Baxter Colburn.
I'm Allison Elise.
I'm Mandi Wilkie. Let's chat.
All right, I'm Baxter Colburn. That's Allison Elise. That's Mandi Wilkie. Ladies, we have a very special guest today. I say this because this is someone that I love and adore deeply. Because Instagram, we've talked about Instagram before, and the power of Instagram, right? It's not often that you find a company or a brand on Instagram and then reach out and then start consuming their product and then about a year later get to meet the person behind it and then get to do work for them. And then I'd like to think we're slowly becoming friends as well. She can confirm or deny that last part. But it's funny to see how the world works sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally.
And we've all been products of that at some point during our lives. But today we have an unique and exciting privilege, in my opinion, to welcome Alicia Forsberg to the show. She's the co-owner, right? Not the full-on, because you share it with mom and dad, right? The co-owner of Mile 22 Cafe and Roastery. So welcome to the show.
Cheers. And she brought us
coffee. If you're watching, we've got Mile 22 mugs.
So cute.
So instead of what are you wearing, what are you drinking, man?
What are you drinking? I am drinking the Mocha Java or Java Mocha?
Mocha Java.
Mocha Java.
Yeah.
I'm drinking
so good.
just blueberry.
It's our natural wild blueberry.
I love it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I've got the same as mocha as you. And you've
amazing. It's amazing.
This
I'm not talking, I'm drinking.
I love Let's Wake Up Together.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
I was actually driving one day and I had a ping and I called my dad and I was like, I know it's flirty, kind of scandalous, but is it okay if we have this as our slogan so people would remember what Mile 22 is? Because the name actually originated when my dad was just in his roastery room with my mom. They're just trying to figure out just to get their own brand standing, I suppose. So I'm like, we need something that's going to be catchy. So that's where Let's Wake Up Together comes.
I love that.
I think
and that's where the best ideas happen,
for
brands and for things like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, driving is my meditation.
I love
and
that.
I think it's a thing for, it is for me. It's for that is the thing I do in the morning. 100%. I make Shane coffee and that's our time, our uninterrupted time to start the day. And it's usually 48 seconds, maybe 50
before kids wake up or anything else, right?
Yeah,
Coffee is a love language.
I was going to say coffee's a love
language.
language.
But it's something he will say, when I'm not with him, he's like, oh, I'm having coffee, but it's not as good. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's like a salad or a sandwich. Coffee is made better by, even this one, Baxter made it for me.
Yeah, with love.
It tastes better when somebody else makes it for you.
I frothed the milk ahead of time.
Thank you for frothing.
And it's so much better when you get to share it with somebody that you love or share it with, good company.
Yeah, I love that too.
Because we associate that. Hey, do you want to go get coffee together, right?
Yep.
It's a good thing typically, right?
Yes.
I'd love to go because usually you get to hear about each other's lives or we're having a business conversation. There's usually good things associated. It's like, hey, my dog just died and you want to go get coffee? It's normally not. It's it's a good thing typically, right? When you go get coffee.
And don't you find that in your business? I mean, people don't come in mad or crabby. Well, maybe they do before
maybe
they have
a little bit.
Yet, right?
But it's super cool to
But then are you let's wake up together?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's super cool to be the person kickstart their day, there's been ladies that come in on woke up on the wrong side of the bed and I help turn it around, which is a good part of our job.
Cool.
So you're a coffee therapist as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah.
I will
There for
say
you when
to their credit, our former neighbors, Taza, they had a little tagline. They said, we're your local caffeine dealer, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of funny because it's essentially, if you're in the coffee business, right, you are, it's people it's an addiction. I could think of a lot worse, right? I kicked my meth addiction a long time. Just kidding. But this is the best addiction in my opinion, right? To have. But there's so many memories that are tied to it. That's if you're on vacation and you're somewhere else, if you can have a cup of coffee for a moment, right? That is a settling piece for you sometimes because it's that I've got this
hot
tangible.
It's Instagrammable.
Everywhere I go, every vacation I've ever been on, I have to try my normal latte in that location. I was in Arizona and there was a coffee shop that I stopped at. It's called Light Heart Coffee and it's in Scottsdale actually. And not only is their branding and everything just so on point, but that was it. I had to try the latte there because it's an experience and coffee is common. It's a common thing that people just enjoy together and you can relate to it.
And I think it's a place where any coffee shop, I feel, is fair game for a conversation.
Very much so. That's where the podcast
You can't walk into a restaurant. Like, you can, but I don't walk into a restaurant and go up to a couple and start talking. But a coffee shop, I 100% will.
You heard something, you're like, oh, really? My kids also go there, or whatever. Like, it's more.
There's genuine, laid back.
That third place for sure.
It, right?
I am curious. I'd love to hear everyone's like go-to coffee drink.
What
are you ordering?
I'm anything chocolate mocha or peppermint. Love. I'll drink peppermint all year long. So I don't have to wait for Christmas. Love it.
Yeah, I'm a vanilla latte gal.
Why you're so jolly all the time?
Maybe.
I love a vanilla latte.
Are you relating me to Santa Claus?
Maybe.
Like,
not in that physical sense.
Yeah.
Maybe Mrs. Claus?
Mrs. Claus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I'm old.
Mrs. Claus.
Very young.
We've already established this. I'm twice your age. Established Mrs. Claus.
Established, yeah. Confident
and
in
not quite as
herself.
giving, probably.
Right, exactly.
I'm boring.
Sorry.
I'll take a vanilla latte.
I mean, I love a good vanilla latte too.
Sometimes I'll have oat milk, but I'm trying to stay away from oat milk because I've been reading some weird things about it.
Oh.
Just like the sugars, and I'm trying to stay away from sugar.
And there's a lot of fat in oat milk.
Bring on the sugar.
So I'm just doing whole milk, and it's just as good.
It's better, actually. Like, I don't really have dairy. It's so creamy. I don't really have dairy, so, like, I haven't really tried, like, a traditional vanilla latte in a minute. And the other day I made one for content for, like, steaming milk and some latte art. And I was like, whoa, this is incredible. Like, I haven't had that in a hot minute. It was so good.
So
and it's
good.
our coffee.
I use a lot of almond creamer in mine.
Were your parents always in the coffee industry? Or was this, like, an idea that was born?
I want to know his favorite coffee.
Sorry, Baxter, we don't care about your favorite.
We'll circle back.
He's also likes what we like.
Sorry,
No, I'm just kidding.
Same.
Keep your question. I just want to know what Baxter.
Yeah, white chocolate mocha.
Oh,
100%. Yeah, and then a
So you
caramel
have
latte is the
mocha,
second
vanilla, and white chocolate.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
mean,
Yeah, I think that's but it's so funny because literally, like, you could go to 2 coffee shops on the same street and they're going to make it completely different.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I got the first time I came to Miles. I'm like, oh, I have a white mocha. And I was like, that's different than Starbucks. It's different than Taza. That's different than this and this and this. I'm like, oh, interesting.
What's your favorite?
I would have to honestly go with the vanilla latte, but right now I've kind of been into a shaken espresso.
Ooh.
A little foam. We have like a funfetti shaken espresso special right now. It's so
Funfetti,
Yeah, birthday
shaken.
Your
cake
Lucky
with
Charm
bacon.
one that you guys had
Oh,
too
that one
looked
was
so
super good,
Did you
too.
do a Fruit Loops one too? Or no, maybe
no,
I'm
just
making that
Lucky
one up.
Charm,
Lucky
but that one
Charms.
definitely did blow up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
like,
that.
Or like the Lucky Charms marshmallows. Like,
So I'm like, I have a hard time in coffee shops because I don't feel like I'm very good I'm not very well educated in the coffee world. So what's the difference between an espresso and like for the non-coffee
and all this.
drinker that wants to go to a coffee shop but is afraid to order? How do you tell them how to understand a menu?
Well, I want to start with like, do they like coffee first, or do they like the idea of
Or do they
coffee?
like creamer?
Yeah, do you want sweet coffee?
Yeah.
When we like first opened in Black Creek, they weren't like really into coffee. They liked the idea of it. They liked that it was sweet. So we were kind of like taboo for them, I guess. So a lot of people are like, I want it sweeter, and I'm like, there's already like 6 pumps of syrup in here, and like that's crazy to me that you want it sweeter than that. But so we kind of have
Because
like
they're used to Starbucks.
Yes, absolutely. And Starbucks doesn't have like anything sugar free. So like a lot of people that like had like like what is it called? Diabetes, like they need sugar free stuff. So it was cool that we can like kind of train people to like coffee now. So when we first like launched a shaken espresso, which is just like brewed espresso under like a high pressure and like lots of like boiling like hot water to create the espresso. And then we put it over ice, and then we add like foam and milk. People were like very standoffish about that at first, but now they're obsessed with it. I think that's probably like our number 1 selling drink right now is like the shaken espresso.
it's a good summer drink.
Yes,
though,
it
too,
is.
Right?
And
Can you add flavor to that?
You can.
Or is it just better if you just like...
The foam has like the flavor and syrup in it,
Yeah.
but then it has like the coffee flavor.
Or like simple syrup or anything?
Hot or cold?
The shaken espresso is just cold.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, but you can get like a latte or a cappuccino that is hot. We also do cold brew. We have our own cold brew beans. That's kind of like how we started at farmers markets, was with cold brew. And that was super cool. It's like a process where we got like a toddy container and you brew it overnight for like 18 to 24 hours. and it's super good. Like our blueberry cold brew is phenomenal.
I bet.
Yeah, it's so good. And no one else has it. It's like a natural flavoring that my dad puts over the beans after roasting. So it's very unique to our brand.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I've had the opportunity, like I mentioned at the top, to kind of follow the journey a little bit, and it's been fascinating to kind of see. What's that?
I want to see your point of view, like hear about it.
So, well, it's been now kind of seeing behind the curtain. So when I had an opportunity to do a little bit of video work for them a couple months ago, but I got to go to her parents' house to see the roastery room and to see everything that happens there, and that just sitting in a room with her dad for an hour and a half was just fascinating, right? Because he's number one, the nicest man in the world, but then also just kind of talking about the entire process of how it all works. And I was like, oh my God, like you don't really realize sometimes what all goes into the process.
Right.
And like the detail of it is like, if I cook it another minute or two, like the whole batch is different than if I'm like, oh,
wow,
really? I'm like, okay. And the degrees of everything. But knowing the fact that it was farmer's market, and the thing that stood out to me when I first ordered from you guys is the box came and it was very nicely wrapped. Like you open it up, there's these little paper doilies that are on the inside, and there was a handwritten card in the inside that said, thank you for ordering. And it had my name, even, and I was like, Baxter, like, thanks for, it was very simple, but it was still like, Baxter, thank you for your order.
Yeah.
I think it was all three of your names, or I forget if, or milestone, but it was that tiny little touch. And I was like, whoever these people are, I was like, that alone, I'm like, you've got me. I'm like, I'm in now. I'm like, whoever you are, I'm like, I will continue to order from you now, because that little piece meant so much.
Yeah, that little personability.
Correct.
In it makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
Well, and that's probably something you just do it now as part of your routine. So you're probably not thinking about it on the receiving end. You know, there's a couple touches in our businesses, I'm sure that we all do, that we're just like, now it's become, we're just trained. It's part of our system, our onboarding or whatever. But you forget about the end consumer and how much it means to them.
Yeah, it was actually super cool when we first started making that personal touch, that people would like capture moments and like take pictures of them opening the box and like showing us and tagging us. It made us feel like our brand is like something and real, because we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just learning to like believe in our own product at this point. So like, you know, Baxter and like many others, like just taking our coffee on vacation was like 100%. Such a cool experience.
I think I messaged you shortly after I got, I'm like, I just took it to a friend's weekend away and everybody loved it. And you're like, oh my gosh,
like, I love that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, what a great thing to bring, like as a 100%. Gift when you're traveling, something local, right? Yeah. It's fairly local to be able to bring coffee.
I'm very loyal to the brands that I like. And if I find something that I'm almost like force feeding it to people, be like, you should try this. It's so good. And then people are like, what?
Great salesman.
And tag us in the post.
Correct. Yeah. Use my affiliate code. No, it's
right.
Like I'm very much that person, and a lot of people, and my wife is trained now. I've got her to the point where she'll try other people's coffee and she's like, it's just not as good. Like Miles 22's is better. So I've just got her like conditioned now to that piece as well. But you were starting to ask the question about coffee and background in business.
Yeah, just about, have your parents always been in the business? Was this your idea, their idea? You jumped on board?
Yeah, I actually moved back from Florida in 2020, like when COVID was going on.
Where did you live in Florida? I don't think I knew that.
Oh yeah, fun fact. So I lived in Florida for like a year, and it was in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh sure, I'm from Naples, so that's why. You're just up the coast.
I used to live in Fort Myers.
Oh, we all kind of like lived in the same.
I never lived in Florida.
Okay. You still got time. You still got
South Dakota. Not even close to the same.
It's like it's like super close to Fort Myers, just like a little
Sarasota Beach is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's so pretty. Yeah, it was a good place to live. So I moved back, and then like that like fall time, my brother and my dad actually got into like learning how to do pour over coffee, French press and stuff, and it like triggered something in my dad to be like, how do we roast our own coffee? Like, how do we take a step further? So he got this like small little popper roaster, and it would roast like a half pound of coffee, and we'd let our friends and family and coworkers try it, and they're like, this is incredible. So he started building in our basement, because he watched a whole bunch of YouTubers, like how do you get your foot on the ground with coffee roasting, and they were like, just start in your basement. So he built a facility, and
it's such a cool little room. I love it.
Yeah, it is super cute. He got told no so many times from the Department of Agriculture. They were not understanding the concept of what he wanted to build, and he just like trusted his gut and kept like grinding and made us little roastery room, which is super cute. And then we got the approval from like the county and the city and the Department of Agriculture, and the next step was like to get into wholesale. So we got into a couple grocery stores, and then he told me like the next step was to do farmers markets, and I had no idea like what that entailed. I was just in sales previously. So I'm like, well, I know I have like the background for that. So
you can sell. Right?
Yeah, I know I can sell. So that's what we did. And it was super cool to experience like a local community. We didn't really know much about.
So you were selling your bags of coffee at the farmer's market, not selling coffee at the farmer's market, but the bags.
Yeah, the actual organization of the farmer's market, like the couple were like, you got to like start selling your coffee. Like, we don't want you to give you like these drinks away because like we just want people to experience our brand. We didn't really have much to stand on. So once we started selling it, we're like, this is crazy. Like, people are actually like really
people like it.
This is a weird concept. But yeah, from there it just kind of built.
So in business, there's that moment where you say, okay, we have something, but farmer's market to a physical building is huge.
Yeah,
some might not think that's not a big jump, but that's a massive jump.
How fast did that happen?
We were like in our second year of the farmer's market. It happened like towards the end of the season. We were going to work with somebody. It didn't work out now, but it's kind of a blessing in disguise. But I was just dreaming like that would be amazing to have our own coffee shop. And in Black Creek, my mom was like looking on the marketplace for something, and this like cafe that used to be like an old nutrition shake shop had the best setup for a little shop for somebody that didn't really know what they were doing. But little did we know like the brand that we were going to work with, they were our biggest expanders. They were telling us like, we have no idea what we're doing. We're just kind of winging it and taking all the guidance from our friends and family and local business owners. So we thought if they don't know what they're doing, then we can do it. And we don't know what we're doing either. And we kind of have our toes already dipped in coffee. So we signed the lease like without seeing the place, which is kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
We like called the landlord up and we're like, we want it. We're like, we feel it strongly in our gut. Like this is for us. So we went out there the next day and we like signed the lease and gave her our security deposit and rent. And then she was so cool. She was like, I don't care what you do with it. Like, I trust that you guys are going to make this like your home, because she kind of
gave complete creative freedom for you.
Yeah, which was super
That's how
cool.
you know you've got a good one.
Yeah, no, honestly, when it was so easy, like I've taken like if things happen so easily, like it's meant to be, like if it's not a force. So I just kind of trusted the process with that. And we've any challenge we had, we always just figured out a way. So it doesn't even feel like those little hurdles were
like the universe was on your side.
Absolutely, yeah.
It makes it a lot easier when things line up the way they're supposed to, right?
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
You guys do such a good job of giving back to the community. Like, you just added a little patio, and you're like, the whole process, you're like, this is for you guys. This is for the community, right? It's not about, look at how great we are and what we are doing. It's like, no, this is for everybody, right?
Yeah, I was working full time for a construction company, and they really like led on humility, and that's something that like I admired a lot. Like, these millionaires were just like very humble yet. So it's something that I want to also bring in Mile 22. Like, I just want to be for the community. Like, that's not about like the money will come, sure, if like we stay consistent and work very hard, but I really just want to be with the community. Like, I don't care size, shape, who you are, like I'm gonna treat you as a person.
And in turn, the community takes care of your business.
Correct.
Yeah, they come in
really
and they would choose you over Starbucks when they're coming through. I don't know if you have a Starbucks in Black Creek, but
no, we don't.
We have so many Starbucks here.
On the way,
like, anytime I can choose not to go to Starbucks, I will, because I would rather
build a relationship with us.
and support local.
Yeah.
Because when you're taking care of your community takes care of you, which is really cool.
There's like a really cool story with that when my parents, like once like, I don't know, 2008 hit or whatever, and like the market crashed. My dad and mom were just kind of like living off survival, trying to take care of us 4 kids. So they had a very survival mindset, like up until like we started this business. And we like invested a lot in like, getting the room started and like getting marketing going and our tent and stuff, and machinery. So then I think their mindset was like, let's just grind and make some money so we can pay ourselves back. So I kind of had to be like the one that balanced us. So like, hey, like our goal here is community. Like, yes, money is important and that will come, but we need to like stay focused on like taking care of the people that are supporting us. And there was this guy that, he was disabled, and he was like selling these plates at the farmer's market, going stand to stand. And my dad, he was like pretty firm on like, like I don't want to give too much out yet. Like, I'm kind of scared at like, giving too much back yet in the beginning. And this guy was like, well, hey, could you buy one of my plates? I need to eat, And my dad was like, how about we do like a little trade? Like, I'll trade you some coffee beans and I'll take one of your plates. And then he would come back and just like support us ever since then. So I think that was like the stepping stone for my dad to be like, hey, like good energy out, good energy in,
Absolutely, yeah.
So from there, he's just been such a giver, and it's super cool to watch him grow and like become this really great person too.
Well, I mean, how credible is it that a 26-year-old can teach her parents that? I mean, nothing against your parents, right? But for you to be able to bring that to the table so passionately and intently, to be able to pass that on. Because arguably, as someone who's older, we've seen what we've been through, and there can be a scarcity mindset.
Absolutely.
Where you're probably like, it's a risk, let's do it. Right? And so what a great balance for the two of you, for you to teach them like, hey, and I'm a believer, you get what you give.
Yes.
And the more you give, the more you do the right thing, it will come back. So, I mean, congrats and kudos to you for teaching that to your dad.
We balance each other very well in those ways, which is super cool. Like, I can be like the biggest dreamer, and they like humble me sometimes. Like, hey, like, let's be a little logical first, and then like, you know, like gives back to them. But
keep one foot on
the ground. That needs to be
generational a little bit too, right?
Hey,
I really
okay, right?
You're sitting in a safe space for the dreaming piece.
Yeah, and I mean, arguably too, if people are investing, if your parents put the money in, right, they're probably thinking like, well, we can be dreamers and givers, but we have to also be realistic.
We got to pay our bills,
you have to pay our bills,
and that's where they do come in. Like right now, I think of like the community, like Black Creek. We do have an opportunity to like revive this little village that we live in, or we are established in. So we have lots of projects to like bring community together. And like on the corner of our coffee shop, I saw like this piece of land, and I was like, who owns this? I want to use it. I want to like build a spot for the community to gather. So I got the village approval with a couple of other business owners, and we're going to make this space and get other entrepreneurs involved in like having ownership in this space of like donating and building like a pergola and picnic tables. And
that is amazing.
So maybe, so people can like start believing that like change is good. I think a lot of these people that are like stuck in the village of like, well, you know, like we have to like let money out, and like we know what it's like to have no money, so like they're scared of change. So I think it's cool that I'm kind of on the outside coming in like, hey, actually it's possible.
Well, and
this is one person.
This is your future.
And there's
so this is going to be your home, and where you potentially eventually raise your family. You want it to be a place that you love, and a reason for people to want to come back or to want to stay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it just takes one person to take the risk, and they're like, okay, let's go. Like, I got you too. So it's super cool that way.
Right. I think that's an interesting piece about business, because depending on your upbringing, right? I came from hardly anything as well. My family, very, very small amounts of money. Everything was very tight. And I think sometimes when you find business owners that had nothing, that suddenly find that they have money, they go one of two ways. They either like, I didn't have it, so I want to give it out, or I finally have it, nobody touched my money, right? And they like completely kind of forget everything of where they used to be. And it's like, I have money now, and now therefore I'm not going to give, I'm not going to do anything. And those people are often a lot harder to deal with, unfortunately. But that piece that I think so many business owners miss is that give back. It doesn't matter if you came from a very wealthy family or a single mom with hardly any money, right? Like being able to find some way, whether it's your time or financial, to give back in some way is huge and so important. And we talked about that with Mayor Jim a little bit too when he was on, but like that goes such a long way for your credibility, but also just it's the right thing to do, in my opinion.
I believe money makes you more of who you are. If you are a giver, the more money you make, the more you will give. If you are an a-hole, the more of an a-hole you will be, the more money you make.
Mandy wants to swear so badly on this podcast.
I didn't swear.
She means a taker. I think she means a taker.
Like dollar sign.
All the episodes.
I'm sorry. We're supposed to, the real chat, and I swear. I so
it's funny to watch the like gymnastics in your brain.
I know. I'm like, should I say it? Should I not? But truthfully, the more you have, the more you're going to show your true colors.
100%.
So it's going to be good or bad. And I think at 26 for you to have that mindset, because it would be really easy for you to have a taker's mindset instead of a giver's mindset, and a scarcity mindset instead of abundance. But kudos to you. That's amazing.
I definitely did a lot of self-development. I got into like a lot of self-development podcasts before I felt like I was deserving of stepping into this business. Because when my dad asked me to be his partner, I was like, whoa, I have a lot of shame from like maybe the generational things that my parents had. So like I had to like work through even believing in myself before I could even sell something that was within our family. So I did a lot of internal work and just trusting the process, and constantly still doing internal work of like how I can give back.
So a very old soul. I mean, like, come on.
That. Yeah.
It's not easy though. It is not easy.
No, you're half of Mandy's age.
Half of my age. Just let that sink in for a second.
It's too easy to walk in.
I know. Dang it. I set you up for that.
It's true. But I'm curious for the room as a whole, not just for you, Alicia. I think one of the things we don't always talk about as business owners is what are things that you do to take care of yourself so you can be the best thing that you can be for your business?
I love that question. I think fitness and health are like number one for me. I think like you have one temple, you always have to take care of it. So same with like giving out energy, like what you put in your body is, you know, definitely important because that's what you're going to get out of it. Totally. Something I started doing more is like walking, taking time for like meditation walks, whether it's like a self-development podcast on that, but just to feel grounded, I do. And then I do work out daily. I feel like that's also very important. But I think a lot of it does just come down to like being in the moment more. I think moving out to Black Creek and starting our business, I've been more in the moment, away from my phone, taking on projects just so I could be present. I feel like that makes me feel like less anxiety, less depression, any of that stuff, because you're surrounding yourself around really good people. Like I didn't know who I was going to attract in a village that I knew no one in, and it's super cool of like who I am magnetic to.
So. Yeah,
I think that keeps.
What about you,
and you are who you surround yourself with.
100%.
For sure. Yeah.
So when you're surrounded, I mean, I want to be your friend.
I want to be your friend. I hope we're friends. We're
going to be friends after this.
Same. Can I be your oldest friend?
Best friend.
Yeah,
I'll be your oldest friend.
We'll have coffee talks.
I'm for sure going to come and visit. I think it's so cool.
I feel like it should be a self-care Saturday.
I've been in that mindset for a while now where like I've had some really unfortunate things go on in my personal life that I know that I have to be like, I have to surround myself with people that lift me up and make me feel good.
Yeah.
And I've known this, I mean, not most people don't know this about me, but after having my daughter 10 years ago, like I lost a ton of weight and that was the like history repeating itself. Like I had a moment recently where I was like, when I move my body, I am in such a better wavelength of the universe. Like I am in such a better place and it's 25 minutes of my day.
Correct.
Yeah. Prioritizing that is huge. So I relate to you on everything that you said because that's for sure how I can show up as my best self as well.
Yeah, I love that.
Baxter, you asked, I think for me, I used to hate being alone after my divorce. I hated being alone because I was used to a family of, 5 and a dog and chaos. And I hated being alone. Then I had to learn to embrace being alone.
Yes.
And now that's my reset. Like because I have a routine where I didn't before I had adult children. Now I have adult children and they kind of live with me all the time. But before that, I had a set schedule and I learned to really look forward to a little bit of time alone where I didn't have to cook for anybody, clean for anybody. I could sit on the couch in my t-shirt and underwear if I wanted and watch a movie. Like I actually had to learn to embrace that. So for me, it's having a little bit of time alone to decide to do what I want to do. Not what I have to do. If I want to work, I can work. If I want to go for a walk, I can go for a walk. If I want to sit and watch Netflix, I can. But for me, it's having a little bit of time alone.
You know, that's super powerful because like you probably didn't get to have a lot of your own choices for so long. So you like sit with yourself and then be like, what do I actually want? Who am I? Like that's super cool to have that now.
You had so many selfless years.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And it's okay to step into that selfish.
And to have that time that nobody's holding me accountable to anything.
Correct.
And I don't have to explain anything to anyone.
Yeah,
so I don't have to be like, well, what did I do with that hour?
Well,
F you. I did what I wanted to. There you go. So that's for me. I mean.
There we go.
Shit found a loophole.
We got close.
Fart on you.
I'll try that on my kids tonight.
Your kids listen to this.
Miss Mandi said it's okay to swear at my kids.
It's not a swear if you say F you.
True. My oldest is smart enough to be like, you said. I'm like, no.
Flip you. Careful. Anyway, what about for you, Baxter? I know you've been trying to move your body more and spending time in your Bible and things like that.
Correct. Yeah. And I will say, obviously, having a newborn in the house derailed a lot of the daily movement, unfortunately, because that's now spent with him, right? Which is fine. And then it's like, okay, now if I'm not holding him or helping give my wife a break for a moment, then I'm gone and I'm at work and I'm doing shoots, right? And I'm grateful that I do things with work. And Allie, you're the same way too, where we move a lot, right? Like we don't sit at a desk and take pictures. We are moving. We're up, we're down, we're squatting, we're lunging, we're all over the place, right? I mean,
I'm doing a cartwheel.
Correct.
I'm just kidding.
I've never taken a video doing a cartwheel. Maybe I'll add that to my list. But I can tell because I haven't been moving my body that I miss it, right? And I miss,
crave it.
Yeah, I crave that. I mean, I played soccer for 18 years. Like my body felt like it was designed to move, right?
Yeah.
I'm not moving. I am so much more negative. For the first time, I don't know if I've ever asked anybody this. I asked my wife a couple of weeks ago. I was like, do you think I'm getting fat? And she looked at me. But that's the problem though. When I don't move my body and I don't feel like I'm taking care of it, even though I live a very healthy lifestyle, then all of a sudden the negative thoughts
and it's not like you're sitting around watching TV all day.
You're not doing anything. You're not taking care of yourself.
Because also moving your body doesn't just have an effect on your physical
Correct. It's
body.
100%
For your mental and how
Very
you show up to be a dad to that newborn baby and to your other children and be the husband to your wife and to show up in Colburn Creative as well.
Exactly.
It's all connected.
Exactly. And that was a weird realization because she kind of like looked at me and she's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm like,
she's like, I'm the one that just had a baby, Baxter.
I know. She also looks like she never was pregnant.
I know.
Right? Like,
I know.
Which is great.
She was so cute.
That was a triggering piece for me though, because I was like, okay, like when I'm not taking care of myself, just me by myself, then it starts to seep into how I view my business, how I parent, how I am a husband, right? Like all of that is a trickle down effect. So moving my body, yes, getting out, playing golf, soccer, any of that stuff, and being alone as well. Like that was the hardest piece for me. But I find that when I am alone in those moments, I'm like, okay, like I can hear myself. Finally, right? Like, which is weird because it's so loud in here all the time. Right. And then when you take a moment to just step back, you're like, oh,
I think it's also a place to feel your emotions. Like I harbor a lot of my emotions, a lot of my stress as a business owner, a single mom, kids in college, finances, all the things. So when I'm alone, I'm like, if I want to cry, it's okay to cry.
100%.
If I want to laugh, it's okay. If I want to say the F word.
Yes, exactly.
Right. But I think it's important to be able to feel that.
Yes.
I have a quick question because I feel like it ties into this like mindset and how you take care of yourself and things like that. What are the hours? Like, what is your business model?
A day in the life.
I have friends who own coffee shops, and one of my favorite coffee shops, like, I was just having a conversation with her, and her business model is like, Sundays the bakehouse sleeps, but Mondays we're not open, but someone's there. Someone's baking. Someone's getting ready for the week. What I adore about her business model is that family is first. And although it's a family business, they need to make intentional time for themselves so that they can keep going. Yeah. So I'm interested to know what that looks like for you and your family. What are the hours of the coffee shop? Like, what does that week look like for you guys?
Does your day start at like 2 a.m.?
And how much time do you spend? How much time do you spend with your parents outside of the coffee shop and things like that? Like, I'm curious to know just like what that looks like.
Okay, so our hours are we're open 7 days a week. We are open from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then on the weekends we're open from 8 to 1:30. I have
7 days a week.
Yeah. So
it's unheard of nowadays. You're not there
every single day though, correct?
I'm not there every single day. That's correct. I have technically Monday and Tuesday off, and Monday is usually my reset day for myself. Like I really like to like make sure my home is clean, have a clean headspace, get a workout in, and then Tuesday like I'll do payroll and like kind of reset, do inventory. I'll connect with one of our vendors for food, see what we need to like be making fresh. She's like 2 doors down, so I kind of like get that stuff out of the way. My mom works Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, so she gets a good balance there with that part, and she does like inventory on Wednesdays. So she relaxes her ways with like gardening and taking care of herself like that. But for my dad, he kind of like works a weird schedule, like 2 on, 2 off, 3 on, 3 off, because he's still working full time at his current job.
Wow.
So he's a busy bee though. He doesn't like to sit still. So even if he's not doing online orders, like he will be doing something. So I think that he'll forever be that way. Yeah. Quality time with family, we are currently working on that. I think that my mom made it to our attention that yes, we see each other at the coffee shop, but we are not making intentional time with each other.
Right.
So,
which is so important. Yes. Like family dinners, going for
especially if she's working Monday, Tuesday, and those are your days off.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I still and I live up top of the coffee shop, so I definitely make it my intention to like check on her, see how she's doing. I did it today before I left. Yeah. And my dad came to like come see her for a little bit because today's his day off. So like that's super cute. I think now having the business, it's either like gonna tear us apart or bring us closer together, which it's definitely brought us so much closer together.
That's amazing.
So that's super cool. Every challenge we go through, we honestly get better in business and better in personal. I see Mouth Honey too like become more successful after we come through a challenge and come closer.
Yeah,
they say that. They say that usually
love and money are
something
connected.
hard, something great is coming.
100%.
You know, I believe that's a true statement in business.
Yeah. So I think it comes down to like my mom grounding us and like making sure she doesn't want me to overwork. I like to take on projects. Like we had a really successful like Mother's Day project that I took on. I saw a thing on Pinterest.
It looked really cute. I loved it.
Thank you. It was super fun. I connected with 2 other business owners like in the local area to make like a Mother's Day basket. And
so cute.
Was it a giveaway?
We did.
Or was it
like
both?
A sale, like men. If you need a Mother's Day gift, call us and we'll take care of it.
So I connected with like 3 different business owners to see if they want to do like 3 giveaways for 3 local moms, and that wasn't on social media. It's just people that walked into our shop. And then we also did like a Mother's Day basket, which it was like the drink carrier, and we had like our beans, a cup of coffee, a plant, and a beautiful like cake parfait with like flowers on top. It was super cute.
So cute. And then that was available for purchase?
Pictures of it? What was that?
That was available for purchase? Like guys could call and say,
I posted on
send
social
this to my
media.
wife for Mother's Day?
Yeah.
This is so cute.
It was adorable watching the husbands come into the shop.
So then they could buy this for their wife or for their
so
mom or for whoever.
So a wife could take this picture and say, this is what I want for Mother's Day. Please don't make me a handmade frame.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I actually want to take on this project only to prove to myself, because sometimes like in business you could like easily be like project here, and you don't want to like scatterbrain a little bit, but I want to like fully like from beginning to end fully complete it, like no like fall offs, don't put in somebody else's hands, like I just wanted to do it for me. Yeah, and it was super cool, like who just all wanted to like gravitate and help. Like we had friends and community members just wanting to help us put it together, which is
I love that.
That's so amazing. And I mean, such a great thing for dads. To make it really easy. I say that's
a lifesaver for husbands.
This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Call you, have you put it together. I'll pick it up and look like the hero.
Very much so.
Yeah, I love that.
So one of the last things I want to ask, because I know we have to wrap up here soon, is I'm always fascinated with what's the scary goal? Like what's the goal that you don't really share out loud because you're like, if I say it, then maybe it's going to happen. Like what's the big thing that sits in the back of your mind that like one day, like this is what I want?
Yeah, ideally I want to be in a bigger city and have a space that, you know, people can feel like home, because our coffee shop, it does feel like home, but I don't think that's going to come for a little while, because I think my goals are changing now. Like I do want Mile 22 to be in Black Creek, but I want to start getting into real estate and like make sure my parents can retire first before we open another location. Like
oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
Want to franchise it?
Yeah. I don't know. That'd be super cool. I had a dream about it the other day, actually. So
there you go.
If it does come to fruition, that's super cool, but I want to make sure that they're set right now.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Tell me about the speakeasy in the backside.
Oh yeah. So actually one of our like locals came and like saw this space. They're like, what are you going to do with this big back room? And I'm like,
on the backside of the coffee shop.
Yes. Backside of the coffee shop.
Your space?
Yes. So like we were just going to use it for storage, maybe like expand like the food area in there. But she's like, what if you do like a speakeasy but for coffee, and you can have like the space for locals to have more peace and quiet, maybe a business meeting, and then that expanded to like, oh, maybe these moms want like a wine night, or maybe they want to rent this out for a baby shower. Book clubs. Yeah, like
podcast
that stuff.
Recordings.
Yes, absolutely. That'd be super
cool.
cool. Yeah, so there's already people in the community that want to have this space and like rent it out. So
it's amazing.
We gotta take steps to get there. Right now we have road construction, so that's like our next hurdle. But so far everyone's been super good to us.
Good.
Yeah.
If people want to learn more about Mile 22, what's the best way to do that?
They can connect with us on Facebook. I'm more active on there, but we are on TikTok, Instagram, all the good socials.
Do you have a website?
We do have a website. We have an online store, so if you'd like to try our beans.
Cool.
Yes.
I was going to just ask if you sell throughout the U.S. Like
we do, yeah. It's super cool. Like I'll look to see
if you want to gift somebody.
And they're going to get a handwritten note.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's one piece of
that
business
was my first
that I
experience.
think is
was just an online
so
order.
Cool. Yeah, that's amazing.
And super quick, why Mile 22? Maybe it's very like no-brainer. We're on Mile 22 mile marker, but why Mile 22?
Yeah, super no-brainer. When my dad just started up like roasting coffee in the beginning, he needed an LLC. So my mom and him were like, okay, we're lived our majority of our life off of Highway 22, and that's where our business is established. But there's actually like some cool things that come with the name that I had no idea. So people that run marathons, there's like 26 miles. And
22 is the wall.
22 is the wall. So you have to actually like have all the mental toughness to get through mile 22.
Yeah.
So it was super neat that we had these runners come to our shop and share that with us. And I think that we took a little piece of that.
That is cool. I love
relatability and all of that.
I've done that. And it's a real thing. Mile 22 sucks. But if you can think about coffee, it's helpful.
Yeah. Or if you just like, you know, keep with the
push through.
But last my favorite number.
Shaking espresso.
It's been my favorite number.
It was my
entire
number in
life.
high school.
It was my basketball number.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like your golden birthday number?
Nope. My birthday's the 24th.
Oh, okay. 22 is it though.
But 22 has always just been my favorite number. And like I had a friend that passed away when I was 15. She was a hockey player. Her number was 22. Like, so it's like a nostalgic number. It's a special number for just very random reasons.
Yeah.
And yeah, very catchy. I love it.
Love it.
I love that.
Well, congratulations to you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was so nice to meet and talk with you. Yeah.
We're definitely going to do a road trip.
Yeah, we're going to come to you.
I'll take care of you.
Live on Instagram or something.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Or something like that. That'd be so fun.
So be sure to follow you on social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
And go check it out.
And go drink her coffee in real life.
Please.
And go see her or her
So
staff or her parents.
Yeah.
And check out the space. Now you have a reason to go to Black Creek if you didn't have a reason before.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Follow
the
journey
on Mondays,
of the
Tuesdays if we want to see you.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
right. We gotta. And also, by the way, we didn't ask this. Full menu too? Breakfast, lunch?
Yes, breakfast and lunch. Yep, we partnered up with like Kelsey Country Kitchen, which is like a few doors down. She's a catering business, so she does all of our breakfast stuff, and then we take care of the lunch menu.
So wow. Delicious. So you're supporting community that way too.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
Love it.
Love it.
Cool. We love having you.
Alicia.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it.
Me.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Remember, the show is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we are on Facebook and Instagram as well. Just search for The Real Chat Pod. Ladies, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time.
So much fun.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.